So you save some data in an app. Where does it actually go? I mean, really, how does your favorite application find that one specific record out of billions and do it in like a split second? Well, today we are going under the hood. We're going to explore the hidden machinery that makes it all possible, the database storage engine. You know, this German proverb pretty much perfectly captures the fundamental dilemma at the heart of every single database. Think about it. Do you spend a ton of effort organizing your data as it comes in so it's super easy to find later? Or do you just throw it all in a pile? That makes it really fast to save, but, a total nightmare to search through. This core trade-off, this constant battle between how fast you can write data and how fast you can read it, that is the central theme we're going to be digging into. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by building the world's simplest database, just to really get a feel for the core problem. From there, we'll dive into the two big solutions, the diary method, also known as LSM Trees, and the index approach of B-trees. Then, we're going to switch gears and tackle a whole new challenge, analytics, and its really clever columnar solution. And finally, we'll pull it all together so you can figure out how to choose the right engine for whatever you're building. To really appreciate the super sophisticated engines we have today, we've got to start at the beginning. We need to understand the problem they're all trying to solve. So let's build the most basic, bare-bones database we can possibly imagine. Believe it or not, right here, this 2-line bash script is a fully functional database. Seriously, the db set command is ridiculously fast because all it does is just tack a new line onto the end of a file. That's a sequential write, and it's one of the fastest things a disk can do. It's simple, it works, but yeah, here's the massive catch. To get a value back, our little dbget function has to scan the entire file, from the very beginning to the very end. If you have 10 records, no problem. But what about a billion? Your lookup time just grows and grows with the amount of data you have. This is what we call an ON operation, and at any kind of scale, it's a complete performance disaster. So, how do we fix these horribly slow reads? Well, we use an index. It's exactly like the index at the back of a textbook. Instead of reading every single page to find what you want, you just look up the topic in the index and it tells you exactly which page to jump to. But, and this is a big but, this speed comes at a price. Every time you add new data to the book, you also have to update the index. And that's the fundamental trade-off. Indexes make your reads way faster by adding a little tax to every single write. Okay, let's look at our first major solution. This is one that totally leans into that fast write philosophy. I want you to think of it like keeping a diary. What's the easiest way to write in a diary? You just add a new entry at the end, right? You never go back and erase or edit old pages. This simple append-only idea is the absolute core of what we call log-structured merge trees, or LSM trees. The principle here is really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You just turn all database writes, even if you're updating existing data, into these super fast sequential appends to a log file. Now, obviously, you can't let that log grow forever. So to prevent that, the database periodically runs this background process called compaction. It just cleans things up, merging the log segments together and throwing away any old, outdated, or duplicate data. Let's just walk through the process real quick. So a write comes in. First, it gets added to a sorted structure that lives in memory called a mem table. Because it's in RAM, this is unbelievably fast. Then, once that mem table gets full, the whole thing gets written to disk as a brand new permanent sorted file. We call that an SS table. And finally, all the while, there's a background process that's constantly merging these smaller SS tables into larger, more efficient ones. Now, this design gives LSM trees some real superpowers. Their sequential-only writes mean you get exceptionally high write throughput. It's perfect for things like logging systems or IoT data. And here's a little pro tip for the senior engineers watching. This design is fantastic because it minimizes something called write amplification. That's when one logical write from your application results in multiple physical writes to the SSD, which actually wears out the drive faster. LSM trees, by their very nature, are just much gentler on your hardware. Okay, so now let's explore a completely different way of thinking. We're moving from that diary method to something that's more like a perfectly organized library card catalog. This is the world of B-trees. And it's the engine that powers most of the traditional relational databases you've heard of, like MySQL and Postgres. So unlike LSM trees that never ever modify old files, B-trees are all about updating data right where it lives or in place. The database is chopped up into these fixed-sized blocks called pages, usually about 4 or 8 kilobytes each. These pages are organized into a tree structure that, and this is the key, is always kept balanced.
This structure is designed to keep related data physically close together on the disk, which makes reading a range of information incredibly fast.
The real power of a B tree is in its structure. To find any piece of data, you start at the top, at the root page, and you just follow pointers down until you hit the correct leaf page at the bottom. The magic here is just how incredibly shallow these trees are. Get this, a B tree that's only 4 levels deep can index a whopping 256 terabytes of data. That means you can find any key with, at most, 4 disk reads. That is predictably, consistently fast. So let's put them head to head. B trees are the champions of fast, predictable reads because they update data in place. LSM trees, on the other hand, are the champs of high-throughput writes because they only ever append data. So what's the bottom line? Well, B trees are the workhorse for what we call online transaction processing, or OLTP. That's the mixed read and write workload of your typical web application. LSM trees really shine when your workload is just overwhelmingly writes. Okay, so far, we've really been focused on these OLTP systems, the engines that power our everyday apps. But what if you want to ask those big picture analytical questions of your data? This is a completely different kind of challenge, and it's going to require a completely different kind of solution. Just look at the difference here. OLTP systems handle millions of tiny little queries like, get this user by their ID. They really care about the latest state of the data. Analytics, or OLAP, is the total opposite. We're talking about a few massive queries that scan huge amounts of historical data to find trends, like what were the total sales for every single store last quarter. The kind of index that's perfect for OLTP is almost useless for OLAP.
Right. So answering these huge analytical queries efficiently required a completely different way of laying out data on disk. It required a whole new architecture. And that architecture is the columnar or column-oriented database.
This slide really shows a fundamental shift in thinking. A traditional row-oriented database stores all the values for a single row together in one place. A column-oriented database flips that completely on its head. It stores all the values for a single column together. Now, why is this such a game changer? Well, for an analytics query, like say some price, it only has to read one file, the price column. It can completely ignore all the other data, the IDs, the names, the dates. That is a massive I/O saving.
So this columnar approach is purpose-built for analytics. It massively cuts down on the amount of data you have to read from the disk. And here's another cool thing. Since every value in a columns file is the same data type, they're all numbers or all dates, it allows for some incredible compression. Then you can use techniques like bitmap encoding to make those aggregate queries like sum, count, and av just lightning fast. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. Simple databases, LSM trees, B trees, and columnar stores. So how do we put this all together? Let's try to boil this down into a few key takeaways you can actually use. First, and this is the most important thing to remember, there is no single best engine. It just doesn't exist. The right choice depends completely on your workload. For the mixed reads and writes of a standard web app, a B tree is probably a great fit. If you're trying to absorb a massive fire hose of incoming data, an LSM tree is your hero. And for running those giant analytical queries, you absolutely need a columnar store. You have to understand your workload first. Second thing, please remember that indexes are not free. They are an incredibly powerful tool for speeding up your reads, but that speed always comes at the cost of write performance and storage space. Every single index you add puts a little more tax on every single write operation your database does. So you gotta be deliberate. Choose the indexes that give you the biggest bang for your buck on your most common queries. And third, row stores and column stores are fundamentally different tools for fundamentally different jobs. Using a row-oriented database like MySQL for a massive data warehouse workload it's like trying to hammer a nail with a screwdriver. I mean, you might eventually get it in there, but it's going to be painful, it's going to be slow, and it's going to be super inefficient. You have to use the right tool for the job. So I want to leave you with a final thought here. Pretty much every storage engine we've talked about today is designed around the basic trade-offs between slow, persistent disks and fast but volatile RAM. But what happens when that distinction just goes away? What happens when we have memory that's as fast as RAM, but it's also permanent, like a disk? All of the fundamental assumptions that shaped B trees and LSM trees could be completely turned on their heads, paving the way for entirely new database architectures. The future of storage? Well, it's going to be fascinating to watch.